Hi, my name's Craig Love and welcome to Scotland and my home city of Glasgow. This video will look at the potential impacts climate change will have and has had in Glasgow. Glasgow is a port city with a city centre laid out in a North American gridiron style pattern. Located in the River Clyde in the west of Scotland, it's Scotland's largest city and the third largest city in the United Kingdom. Data collected from the 2011 census conducted by the National Records of Scotland had Glasgow's population at around 590,000 people, but recent studies have shown that the population is now closer to 600,000. Glasgow is a city awash with rich architectural heritage, from the Victorian era and other periods. From the facades of Glasgow University and Ibrox Stadium to the People's Palace, there are so many amazing buildings throughout Glasgow, featuring fascinating detail and are a marvel for building design. Tenement flats are one of the most prominent and common forms of housing throughout the city and are favoured for their large rooms, high ceilings and original period features. Historically, Glasgow was a city built on trade and shipbuilding. The location of the River Clyde allows ease of access to the Atlantic Ocean. Following the Act of the Union in the 1700s, imports of goods such as tobacco, sugar and cotton flourished, and by the mid-1700s Glasgow had overtaken London as the main port for the imports of tobacco in the UK. By the late 1800s, Glasgow had become one of the richest cities in the world. The Clydeside shipyards were flourishing and were highly regarded. The term Clyde Belt became a shipbuilding industry benchmark of quality. However, following World War II and the emergence of cheap labour from other countries, shipbuilding fell into decline. Today, Glasgow still has a strong manufacturing sector, particularly in the areas of engineering, food and drink and textiles, as well as growth sectors such as software and biotechnology. A number of major companies such as BT and JP Morgan have operations or headquarters in Glasgow. Glasgow is known to those that live here as being able to produce all 4 seasons in one day. The climate is classified as warm and temperate due to its westerly position and proximity to the Atlantic Ocean. It is one of Scotland's milder areas. However, the city is faced with significant rainfall throughout the year. The average annual temperature for Glasgow sits at around 9 degrees Celsius, with rain falling on average 21 days of each month at around 88 millimetres. July is generally the hottest month in Glasgow, with an average temperature of 15 degrees Celsius, and January is the coldest and wettest month, with an average temperature of 3 degrees Celsius and an average rainfall of 130 millimetres.
Seasonally, the spring months, March to May, are mild and cool, with an average temperature sitting around 8 degrees Celsius. Rainfall around this time of year sits around 76 millimetres. The summer months, June to August, can vary considerably, between mild and wet or warm and sunny. Temperatures average for this season around 14 degrees Celsius, with rainfall around 66 millimetres. The autumn months remain fairly mild, with temperatures averaging around 9.5 degrees Celsius. However, winters in Glasgow are normally damp and cold. The lowest recorded temperature is minus 17 degrees Celsius on the 29th of December 1995.
So if you are planning on visiting Glasgow, make sure you're suitably equipped with clothing, as when it rains in Glasgow, it rains, and there's almost always wind to accompany it. With yearly average wind speeds reaching 12 miles per hour, umbrellas frequently break.
On top of the ever-changing weather systems, there have been numerous severe weather events to impact Glasgow. These range from high wind, hurricane cyclone events, and extreme rainstorms, to sudden cold snaps and heavy snowfall. In 1968, a hurricane hit the central belt of Scotland. Hurricane Loku was, and probably still is, the worst storm to have hit Glasgow in modern history. This violent storm appeared to be from a cold front near Bermuda, and resulted in the strongest winds ever recorded in Glasgow. Wind speeds reached nearly 110 miles per hour, and the entire city's electricity failed. Half of the city's council houses were devastated, leaving 700 people homeless and 9 dead. A more recent high wind event to hit Glasgow was in December 2011. Known as Cyclone Friedhelm, however, referred to as locals as Hurricane Bobag, saw intense hurricane-force winds which reached upwards of 80 miles per hour and resulted in the uprooting of trees, the closure of many roads, bridges, schools and businesses throughout the city. The storm was the worst to affect Glasgow in 10 years. In 2017, Glasgow has seen two severely high wind storm events. The first being Storm Ophelia, which resulted in damages to property across the city. This was closely followed by Storm Brian, which had wind gusts of up to 70 miles per hour and driving rain. While high winds and rain are probably the most common severe weather events in Glasgow, in 2010 the city was hit by a heavy snowstorm and freezing temperatures. Some areas of the city, the snow reached up to 15 centimetres and brought chaos to the roads and transport links across not only the city but the whole of Scotland. Climate change is one of the most serious challenges facing Glasgow today. Due to the build-up of past greenhouse gas emissions in the atmosphere, a certain amount of climate change is inevitable. In 2009, the UK Climate Impacts Programme, UKCIP, produced the UK Climate Impacts Projections 2009, UKCP09, which uses information from various data sources to project the impacts of climate change on the UK, using low, medium and high emission scenarios. In broad terms, these projections show that Scotland will see warmer, drier summers with warmer, wetter winters. As Glasgow sits in the west of Scotland region and using a change probability of 50%, in a low emission scenario it is projected that the average daily winter temperatures will increase by 1.2 degrees Celsius by the 2020s, 1.8 degrees Celsius by the 2050s, and 2.3 degrees Celsius by the 2080s. In a high emission scenario, winter temperatures will rise by 1.1 degrees Celsius by the 2020s, 2.2 degrees Celsius by the 2050s, and 3.1 degrees Celsius by the 2080s. Using the same data, mean winter precipitation in the west of Scotland will increase in a low emission scenario by 5 millimetres, 10 millimetres, and 20 millimetres in the 2020s, 50s, and 80s respectively. In a high emission scenario, 5 millimetres by the 2020s, 16 millimetres by the 2050s, and 30 millimetres by the 2080s. This table shows the effects of climate change on projected average daily temperatures and precipitation during the summer in the west of Scotland. The effects of climate change in Glasgow has the potential to impact on health and well-being, especially to disadvantaged groups like the elderly or people living in poverty. According to the Sustainable Development Commission, environmental causes of health inequalities are still underappreciated. Direct impacts on health are likely to be amongst the earliest effects of climate change, not only due to heat waves or extreme heat events, but also as a result of flooding, storms and periods of extreme cold. These effects of climate change on health will be diverse and mediated by a range of different mechanisms, including the direct physiological effects of heat leading to heat-related illnesses, new vector-borne diseases such as malaria, and poorer air quality. There will also be increases in allergens. Other effects could see the closure of schools, sports centres and other public spaces associated with health and well-being. Glasgow City Council consider impacts on health to be one of the most important issues faced with climate change. So much so, it is one of their main objectives in relation to climate change.
Glasgow's transport infrastructure will also suffer from the effects of climate change, with the potential for increased flooding, high winds and more extreme weather conditions. All of these conditions have the potential for disrupting the operation of Glasgow's road and rail networks and can therefore have a negative impact on the economy, in addition to threatening overall safety and reliability of the transport systems.
While the effects of climate change are serious and could have major implications, the people of Glasgow are resilient. While we might be wetter during the winter, at least we might have the opportunity for a barbecue or two in the summer. Thanks for watching.